Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I hope Russia doesn't fall for this garbage, and the garbage will be exemplified by three articles that I have here. Two are from the Ukrainians and one is from the Russians. The articles will show us how the Western countries want to hit Russia, the French, the Germans, the Brits in this case, and the United States of America. But they just claim that they are not at war. They want to hit Russia, but we're not at war with you, so you can't hit us. Understand? It's the same analogy that I always make regarding this issue. This is the Al Capone or whomever it is, and has in his hand, actually it's not Al Capone, it's the guys in charge of Al Capone, right? It's like a trainer, a circus, lion, tiger, trainer, tamer. You know, if you went to circus, you see he has two things. One, a long pole and a long whip. Now this is Ukraine, this is Romania, this is Poland, and the tiger or the lion or the bear grabs and fights with the pole and with the whip, not with the guys who organize this. And these guys say, hey, tiger, or hey, bear, you're not at war with me, I'm not at war with you. You're at war with these guys right here, which I control. So this is the game. Now, if the Russians are going to keep falling or not reacting to this, they risk to be called baboons. When I talk about Russians, talk about those guys over there, not the population. So what do we have here? Let me show you how these guys are about to, and they will, the decision has been made. They will approve Ukrainian military to use their weapons, the French weapons or the German weapons, American weapons or British weapons, to hit inside Russia, like Moscow, for instance, if they care, if they want, right? That's a green light. Americans already said, yes, we're going to do this. Blinkenstein. Yes, exactly. Why not, actually? Not only the Crimean Peninsula or the Donbass. No. Russia proper. This is an article from Ukrainska Pravda from Monday, the 20th, 2024. French parliament asks authorities to allow Ukraine to hit Russian territory with French weapons. Well, if the weapons are good. What do you think, my American friends? Are French weapons good? I know what you're thinking because you're saying it loud. That's how, it's a joke. That's a joke. Don't put it to your heart, my French friends. But in America, they say if you want to lose a war, ally yourself with France. So, or something like that. They say it many times. That's the way they say it. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, they really forget that in the War of Independence, without France, that would not have succeeded. And after that, France became bankrupt. How do you think Napoleon sold the Louisiana Purchase? Because he was bankrupt. He was fighting those bankers. All right, let's move on. Jean-Louis Bourlanges, chairman of the French National Assembly Foreign Affairs Committee, has called on the French authorities to allow Ukraine to launch strikes with French-supplied weapons on Russian territory. But we're not at war. I'm going to show you. Quote from Bourlanges, letter to the French leadership. It seems that the time has come. Says who? Oh, you? Okay. The right to self-defense excludes the right to sanctuary of the aggressor's territory. So could the Russians, since you provide them with weapons and trainers, I would say that they command the operations, they're in charge of that, could that be considered by the Russian self-defense? I mean, I didn't have anything to do with you. I had it with that guy over there. So I was fighting that guy, and you support him, and you hit me with a pole, and you say, I'm not involved, but in self-defense, they can do it. Well, then I can consider myself in self-defense in relation to you, or with you, to you, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Let's move on. He called for France to abandon they can't even stay in Africa anymore when they want to fight the Russians. And I'm going to reserve and make a decision. Following the example of the UK, who have a Jewish defense minister, and you guys have a Jewish prime minister. Correct? Correct. Which has allowed Ukrainian troops to use their and Ukraine has a Jewish president, a Jewish chief of staff, a Jewish what is that, prime minister. Don't make an end. America has a Jewish secretary of state, and he has an Yellen also. I'm talking about Blinken, and you can use. I allow you to use Victoria Nuland as well, and not only. And you can have also the Secretary of Treasury, Yellen. You have Mayorkas in national security. Okay, NSA. I think he is. These guys are just the U.S. chief of staff that you never hear of. Again, he's Jewish. Just a coincidence, okay? But if it's a coincidence, tell me how many Romanians do you know? Do you know being in charge of, I don't know, certain countries, United States of America, or at least being right their positions? None. Why is that? Are we dumb? You can't say that. Why? Because if you say that, then you're going to be xenophobic, and this phobic and that phobic. You know, because we all are all the same, except some chosen. Let's move on. So, at the same time, this guy stressed that neither France nor Ukraine's other Western partners want to fight Russia. Of course you don't. Of course you just want to use the 6 feet long pole and the whip. So, and I'm quoting, it's not a question of them intervening in the theater of operations. Of course it's not. You want to keep it that way, but I don't want to. But of removing an unjustified taboo, unjustified. So, if you come towards me, you know, and walk towards me and you approach me, and I see by your demeanor, I ask you a question, hey, what's going on? Don't come too close. If you come too close, I'm going to defend myself. And you say, well, I'm just coming. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to have a conversation with you. No intentions. Okay, you stay over there. Okay, we're good. But if you keep coming, what do you think I'm going to do? I interpret your actions as an aggressive act towards me. So I'm going to get ready. And when you come over, Red Rover, too close, I will, if I can, you up. That's what I'm going to do. So when this guy said, well, you know what? No, we're not doing anything to you. We don't want to be at war with you. Well, from the Russian perspective, what you do is being at war with me. It is. And by the way, I don't care if the guy approaching me, considers justified my warning or my interpretation of the situation. If he doesn't want to escalate it, stop right there. If you come closer, this is what I'm going to do. So same, the Russians should not give a shit what these guys are saying. We don't want to be at war. Your actions put you at war. But Putin, as many said, well, maybe they know better. I'm pretty sure they know. Now, this is one. Second, this is Ukraine form. And you have this UK Defense Secretary, Shops. Okay, this is Jewish defense minister. Like Reznikov was the defense minister of Ukraine, Jewish, but hey. UK Defense Secretary calls on Germany. Germany, by the way, is a different state, different country than United Kingdom, okay, just for the baboons, or a different state. To give Ukraine long-range missiles with permission to strike Crimea. First, foot in the door, you know, mountain slope model. Just give them long-range missiles and just strike Crimea. Don't strike Moscow or anywhere else. Now, this guy tells the Germans, all right? Germans are Germans not. British defense, he's British, yeah. He's English, Irish, Scot, what is he, Welsh? Secretary Grant Shapps has called on Germany to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles and allow them to be used for strikes on Crimea. Why don't you carry of Shapps? Why don't you care, or you just look into their country that you live in, which is United Kingdom? Don't move into those guys. Those guys are grabbed by your relatives as well. Don't worry about them. But it takes a little bit longer. It seems like the Deutsche Volk is a little bit more. It takes longer to be baboon-eyed, baboon, whatever. So let's see what this guy is saying. Shapps said that Britain considers Crimea as part of Ukraine. This is just the first step. It's just a foot in the door. It's not like occupied by Russians. The Russians consider it Russian. And his country allowed Ukraine to use the weapons. His country, which one? By the Mediterranean Sea? Allowed Ukraine to use the weapons provided by it to strike Russian targets in Crimea. In his opinion, partners should do the same. Okay, you had your say. we have ours. But in the same time, UK says, UK, this guy, it represents UK. UK says it doesn't want direct conflict with Russia. Of course they don't. They get smacked. They don't want to. Sorry, my British friends, okay? Now, Defense Secretary Grant Shapps has said, because that's his UK, right there, defense, his UK, said this is the reason why Western nations do not shoot down Russian missiles over Ukraine. Aw, you're gonna institute the no-flight zone pretty soon, Shapps. I know you. I look at you. I recognize a fucker when I look at one. The West has no appetite for a direct military confrontation with Russia over Ukraine. Of course, they want to be the tamers. I can hit you. You cannot hit me because I identify as not being at war with you. I don't care what you identify as, right? UK Defense Secretary Grant Shapps has stated. He also suggested that Berlin is unwilling to provide its long-range missiles to Kiev for fear that they would be used to hit Russian targets in Crimea. Well. So what do you think, my friends? And it says here, speaking to, this is another one that says we don't intend to fight. They don't want it. We don't intend to fight this war, but you are. We don't want to be in a direct conflict. You don't want, but you are. You say you don't want to because you don't want to be smacked. That's why. Now, this guy right here, Defense Secretary, said, the United Kingdom has very forward-leaning about the war that our weapons are used, including, has been, right? And other countries didn't initially do this, but then followed our lead. No, it's not. It was all pre-arranged, pre-decided before the war. In Crimea, which we see as an integral part of Ukraine. Do you think that they did not make plans before this with the scenarios, what if? I think they said that's written very nicely and they know exactly what's going to be. They all do this masquerade for the baboons that supposedly, they vote, but who counts the vote? The machines. Who's behind the machines? Someone's finger. Yeah, the one that sticks it in his ass. All right. So once again, we would like to they want to warn Washington, London, Brussels, and the Western capitals, as well as Kiev, which is under their control, that they are playing with fire. Russia will not leave such encroachments on its territory unanswered, she said, which is Zakharova, right there. Speaking to the reporters on Friday, this is what Zakharova said, and accused the American, and I'm quoting, American and British handlers of the Ukrainian president, he's not Ukrainian, Zelensky regime of not only providing long-range missiles and heavy weapons, but giving the green light for the use against Russia. Yeah, so my question is to you, Maria, what are you going to do about it? Blah, 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 blah. Well, we're sick of this. Are you going to do anything about it? Well, maybe they're going to do again what they did with when they were talking with these guys were talking about sending troops to Ukraine one by one, and Putin said, yeah, okay, how about we do a little drill with tactical nuclear weapons? And the guys got the message and say, okay, hold your horses, baby doll. So maybe, I don't know, a tougher tone, but it's dangerous because the Russians are consistent. Very consistent in good and in evil. All right, as I said many times, if the Russians promise you $1, they will give you $1. If a Russian promise you a beating, he's going to give you a beating. So the same here. I don't think the Russians want to go far, making threats or this and so on, because if they do it and they don't follow through, that's a big face-losing situation, and I don't think they want to do that. You can see how they operate in Ukraine. They don't get 30 million people under arms to go to Lisbon, or go to, I don't know, to Atlantic Ocean. They just little by little. They have their own plan, and so far, it was not as some people expected. 2 weeks, which I thought was going to be 2 weeks, is going to be done, because 2 weeks without NATO intervention, Ukraine would have been gone. I know someone asked me, and I said 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, they were already in Istanbul negotiating for the 5th time. And then the West came and said, hey, we're in. Okay, wait, let's go. It's only rock and roll. Unfortunately, the rock and roll causes damages, destruction, tragedy, human lives, refugees, and all that. For what? For some profits, economic profits. That's what it is, economic profits, financial profits, money. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.